You're tuned to The Drive on your 24/7 home of the Black and Gold. Steelers Nation Radio.
Good afternoon, Steelers Nation. It's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio, on the Steelers Audio Network. Wes Uhler and Matt Williamson with you here on a Friday where, Matt, it is not the result we wanted. It is not the mood that we were hoping to be in as the Steelers fall to the Bengals 33-31. And, hey, weird things happen in divisional games. Weird things happen on Thursday nights. But I did not see it going down like that. I did not. If you would have told me before the game the Steelers are going to score 31 points, I would have been like, easy win.
Yeah.
I mean, Cincinnati will get 20.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like they're going to blow them out, but 31 points, that'll absolutely be enough to beat this team. And it was not, as that Steelers defense gave up 33 to Joe Flacco, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and that Bengals offense.
Yeah, so a couple things. 49% of the game was great. 51% of it wasn't. And obviously that line of demarcation was depending who had the football.
It's like an election. You know what I mean? All you got to do is get 51% of the people to vote for
and
you.
That was enough.
And you control the country.
Yep. And the Steeler offense made a few more mistakes than the Bengals offense in a pure shootout that you couldn't afford to happen. Now, it's a loss, so I think you start with the negatives. And going into the game, something we talked about a lot were, man, there's not many matchups that favor the Bengals here, you know. But if they're, you know, we often have the conversation, how can the Steelers lose this game or what could derail them? And the couple things that I stood out were Higgins and Chase. Of course. I mean, obviously, that's the lowest of hanging fruit. Steelers on the road in a division game, you know, Thursday night, you know, that hasn't been great. And the thing that we talk about with Merrill Hodge all the time is, you know, never underestimate a wounded or embarrassed professional athlete, you know, and it was kind of all the above. And I don't want to blame it seems too easy or too kind to the defense to blame short week on the road.
Yeah, agreed.
And I'm not going to use that as an excuse. But they did not have the energy and juice that they have the past 2 weeks on that side of the ball at all. I mean, just getting off the ball, getting guys the ball, you know, aggression, violence, hitting, tackling. Now, it's not an excuse. You got to win.
Yeah,
that's how the league is. You know?
I think with some context, too, of a lot of those guys were sitting down the stretch against the Browns on Sunday.
Yeah. Right.
You know, a lot of those guys probably got 10 snaps less in that Cleveland game than they would have if that was a one-possession game.
You know, like Watt had something going on at the end of that Browns game that wasn't really reported, but he wasn't really himself last night, you know. No. But again, these aren't excuses.
Nobody on the defense was nobody was last night, though.
Right.
Cam Hayward had been playing very well. Didn't see it last night. Nick Herbig had been inevitable, quiet last night. I thought Patrick Queen was off to a fantastic start this season. Didn't play well last night. And then, of course, whoever you want to talk about in the secondary,
nobody's happy with that.
Was nowhere close to good enough. And again, you and I said plenty of times leading up to that game, Jamar Chase is going to make some plays. T. Higgins is going to make some plays. Those guys are superstars. Those guys are gazillionaires for all pros and pro bowlers. And Jamar Chase is going to be in Canton one day for a reason. But my goodness, Matt, 16 receptions for 161 yards.
Was it 23 targets?
On 23 targets. He had 12
That's
targets. 12 targets in the first half, 11 in the second half.
Yeah. Now, that was horrific. I mean, the pass defense.
I expected that to change in the second half because that's one thing they did do a good job of last year. We talked about that a ton in the build up to this season. Best third quarter differential in the NFL last season.
Yeah.
And a huge part of that was those halftime adjustments, particularly on defense last year. Didn't see it at all last night.
No. Well, yes and no. It bothers me that I apologize. I'm lumping some of you together.
No, go for it.
Joe, not you. I mean, I'm talking about our listeners.
Hashtag you people.
the common fan will just be like, Chase is lighting you up, so obviously they made no adjustments. They tried different things.
They did.
Nothing worked.
But nothing worked.
Nothing worked. I mean, I would have liked to seen more press coverage.
That was the one big one.
And we're recording this at kind of a weird time. I have not watched the All-22. Like, yeah, they played man, but off man, they were just running right in front, just an out route right in front of you. I mean, what's the difference of, so they did try different people and they did try different things. And the ball came out really quick, 2.4 seconds. Give Flacco credit. I mean, it's hard to disrupt things. But when you saw the ball coming out that quick, put your hands on, disrupt the routes a little bit more. There was too much free releases, for my opinion, just watching TV tape. Now, sometimes in this league or in any sport, Lemieux, you just go, holy cow, that guy's the best dude on the ice, and he's an unstoppable force. And that was Chase.
Sure.
And that's not okay. But it happens once in a while where you go, that dude's special. And he's special. But the run defense bothers me more. To me, that's the sin.
Chase Brown was averaging 14.8 yards per carry at the half.
Right. Big holes.
You know this. I'm assuming a lot of the listeners do. I do the halftime reports from the stadiums wherever we're at. And one of this, it's like a scoring recap segment where we play highlights. Then it's an around the league segment. Then it's a stats segment.
Okay.
And so it happens very quickly, obviously. It's halftime. It's like 3-4 minute segments. And so the stats segment, I don't really kind of deep dive look at them.
You probably just grab 3 or 4 things
until
to
the
jump
2.5 minutes that I have in break right before we go to the final stats segment.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm looking at the iPad that we have there in the booth always with our stats. I'm like, this can't be right. Chase Brown is not averaging 14.8 yards per carry.
Yards per carry,
we have a statistician that travels with us, Denny Pastufka, great guy. I'm like, Denny! I'm like yelling to the back of the booth. They're all back there having Skyline chili dogs at halftime.
Oh, I'm sure, right.
I'm like, Denny, this can't be right. And he comes over and he's like, no, that's right.
That's exactly what happened.
And he finished with 9.8. So, I mean, it got a little bit better in the second half. But
that's still unacceptable, especially for where that running game was.
108 yards on 11 carries.
Yeah, and it wasn't like he busted one 80-yarder and you kept him in check for all the other ones.
He did have the 37-yarder, but that's
not
that's not an 80-yard outlier,
right.
like you're saying.
It wasn't like, well, okay, we had one bad play.
And even Samaje Perine was going for 4.5 yards a clip.
And they were big holes.
And they were typically in those short yardage situations where he needed 2 yards and he got 5 every time.
Yeah, and the tackling was really poor again.
That was something I had in my notes to bring up with you. After that was an issue at the start of the season, it felt like it was moving in the right direction the last couple weeks.
Oh, it absolutely was.
Went back to being an issue big time again last night.
And I really hesitate to keep bringing it up, but you do often see really bad tackling on Thursday night games, period. Yep. I mean, how many times have you seen Derrick Henry on Thursday night stiff-arming Jags and Titans and,
Josh Norman.
Right. I mean, again, that's not okay. It's one of the reasons I hate Thursday night football is you don't give as many guys the ball. You don't arrive with as much aggression. You're just a little off. It's not okay, though. It's just not okay. And, again, that was not – I did a show with Triv. It wasn't Jim Brown. It was Chase Brown.
No. And I said this to you guys before we started recording. We knew that they were going to make some plays.
Yeah.
You combine – it's in their place, which, by the way, they had that whole whiteout thing. The place was jumping. It was loud.
It seemed that way.
They were ready to go. It was like a collegiate-type atmosphere. They were ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
As you mentioned, wounded animal, embarrassed animal. If we lose this, we fall to 2-5 and our season's over.
Oh, yeah, it's desperation
There's a
time.
huge, we'll talk about this with the Steelers. There's a massive difference between 5-1 and 4-2.
Oh, the division's so happy it went this way.
There's a massive difference for the Bengals between 3-4 and 2-5.
Well, that's the difference of trading Trade Hendrickson tomorrow.
Exactly right. Exactly right. You combine all those things. It was never going to be let's stroll in there and win by 3 touchdowns and this will be easy and we'll beat them.
Everyone in their building knew they had to
we'll
win
beat them 30-10. You know what I mean, or 27-10 or something like that. But it also, Matt, cannot, Thursday night, I don't care if you're playing against the greatest show on turf. I don't care if it's Montana and Rice.
Yeah. I don't care if it's a doubleheader from Sunday and you're so tired you can't even walk. It's still not okay.
They scored on 7 straight possessions.
Yeah.
Like that cannot happen. That just point blank. And I believe, I got to double check this, I'm running on like 3 hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it their last 7 possessions of the game? They scored on all straight of their last 7 possessions of the game.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. No, sorry, they had 1 punt in there.
Did they?
7 of their last 8 possessions
resulted in points.
Field goals or touchdowns. again, I don't care if you're playing Montana and Rice. That can't happen.
It can't happen. It can't happen. And Chase is Rice.
I mean,
Sure. That's the level of player he is. But you made it too easy on Joe. I mean, and so I didn't bring this up yet because I've been on a bunch of stuff and I've brought it up a couple times. But I did a national show this morning, Locked on NFL, where I'm just a guest one day a week. So we open obviously every Friday with a Thursday nighter.
Sure.
And my co-host has no skin in the game. He knows I'm a Steeler guy, of course. And he went, man, that was a really enjoyable game. Of course, if you don't care
if
who
you live in
wins.
Chicago or Detroit or Cleveland or Baltimore.
Or just a fantasy guy or a bettor or just a fan. It was a really enjoyable game, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I thought that was a master class in quarterbacking. That you could see their experience.
Totally.
And we were talking about some younger quarterbacks. He's like, Caleb Williams should watch that game. They just took what was there. Boom, boom, boom.
CJ Stroud should watch that game.
And Flacco still can do that. And I didn't know that he could. I mean, he had one good half against Green Bay really for the last year and a half or so. And I'm like, Joe's done.
Maybe it's the Toby Keith thing for him. Like,
right.
As good once as I ever was.
I remember this Tomlin rival, and I've played a lot of games against Steelers, and my team needs me bad, and throwing to Chase and Higgins is a lot more fun than being a Brown.
Yeah.
Let's make a run at this thing. I got Burrow in my quarterback room yapping at me to save the season. Let's step it up, and he did.
You would still see that from Ben from time to time at the end of his career. You referenced Lemieux earlier. Like when he was 40, coming back from his third retirement and his, 17th major health issue, he would still have a 3-point. He didn't go out there and have 2 goals and an assist, and he'd be flying around and looking like he was, the best player in the world for a couple minutes.
Jordan doesn't dunk from the foul line anymore, but he spots you up.
LeBron's like 40 now
right?
too, but every once in a while he'll still dunk on somebody.
Like,
exactly right. Steph Curry will still pull up from his own free throw line,
and we've seen it all year with Rodgers, which has been a blast.
Exactly,
we
right.
saw
and
the wrong end
again,
of it from Flacco.
Yes, exactly right. And Matt, in a game like that, kind of the ultimate minutia is the turnover battle, and you lose it definitively.
Yeah. You guys were talking about it before the air, and we talked about it on the show that I just recorded. I thought the Steelers were going to blow them out. I mean, when we were like 2 series
10-0,
in,
yes.
And then you just made a couple little mistakes, a penalty at the wrong time or settling for a field goal. Like, I felt like you could have buried them early. And the Steelers from Pursuta, he said, you missed. You almost had the knockout in the first round.
Yeah. And
then you lost the 15th round decision.
It's a great way to put it.
And I was like, you said it so perfectly.
That's a great way to put it. I blame Rob King. After the Steelers made that field goal to go up 10-0 and we went to commercial break, he looked around at all of us in the booth, Max Starks, myself, our producer Dan, our stats guy Denny. He was like, I think the Steelers might blow this team out tonight.
I almost tweeted it. I'm like, when it was 10-0,
I blame Rob King.
Yep.
But that was, you go up 10, you fall behind 10, you scratch back in it and take the lead, and then just the ultimate frustrating ending. As you mentioned, a very entertaining football game.
Yeah.
If you're watching that in Philadelphia or Dallas or Kansas City, you're like, this is a great Thursday night game. This is a lot of fun.
Entertaining. Yeah.
Between two,
and the old quarterback thing had to be fun. Right.
Names at quarterback. Absolutely. But man,
not as fun for us.
It's one of those games too, Matt, that like, it's almost, if you just find a way to hold on at the end, all of your sins are excused.
And
because you can play it's a weird Thursday on a road, back-to-back divisional games.
That's exactly what we'd be saying right now.
You just got out of there with a win, and that's all that matters. And now you got a long week to prepare for the Packers at 5-1.
That's one of the things that bothers me a little about our profession is if by chance the Bengals drop a pass or
God forbid they shank that field goal.
Right, exactly. That guy just misses the field goal. It hits the upright.
Like Minka Fitzpatrick a few years ago blocks the extra point at the very end.
Right. I'm like, if Cam gets a hand up here or this guy ganks it off the upright, doesn't mean one bit that the Steelers played any better.
Correct.
But myself, you, every analyst out here be like, they got away with it.
Found a way to win.
That's good.
Rodgers
Victory
played
Monday.
Great.
High
Jalen
five.
Warren ran for 127 yards.
They still didn't tackle or do anything to slow down Jamar Chase, no matter what. The game really didn't. This what we watched isn't any different.
I mean, T. Higgins 6 receptions for 96 yards. The 2 tight ends go 7 receptions for over 90 yards.
Yoshivas
and Fant 49 yards and 44 yards between the two of them, so almost 100 for those two. Matt, the average receptions for these guys. Jamar Chase, 10.1 yards per reception. T. Higgins, 16 yards. Yoshivas, 16.3. Noah Fant, 11.
Yeah. It's obscene.
It's terrible to look at on paper. The eye test wasn't much better. You only get 2 sacks. You needed that number to be higher. No turnovers forced. You needed that to at least be 1 or 2. You had some big plays wiped out by penalties.
Yeah.
One was the hold on the Warren touchdown that ended up you had to settle for a field goal. Was there another was it on a special teams or again? It's so tough last night. We haven't had time to rewatch the game, and I think I got home at about 3 a.m. from Cincinnati. We're both on a lack of sleep.
I was just pulling up numbers while you were talking about their receivers, though, and everyone on the planet realized, wow, Chase was a monster in this game.
And he is. He's great.
But this is almost hard to wrap your head around. I mean, his average depth of target was just under 7 yards. So we knew the ball was coming out quick. I mean, it was 2.4 seconds for Joe last night. I mean, two twos like unsackable. Under 2.5 is considered a quick pressure. Under 2.4, 2.4's really humming.
That does not paint a pretty picture.
So Chase was not just destroying you downfield. I mean, his average throw to him was slightly under 7 yards downfield.
Yeah.
Yet
he's turning it into over 10 yards.
When you really reduce it to the common denominator, yards per route run, I mean, per route, there's many routes that the ball doesn't go to him, even though he got 23 targets.
Sure.
He was producing 3.35 yards per route run, despite not having a high average depth of target at all. So it's just constant. It's just every time 2 yards per route run is really, really good.
That almost like breaks analytical analysis.
That's what I mean. I know that's a hard thing to wrap because most people aren't used to those numbers.
If football had like a wins above replacement stat, that would break the system.
It'd break the system, right? Like we're throwing short and he's producing on a per route basis over and over and over and over at a really high level.
That's a great stat pool by you. We'll continue to talk about all those things with the queen of the sideline. She was down there and in the trenches last night. She'll help us paint the picture. We'll talk to Missy Matthews when we return on the other side. It is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Back on The Drive here on a bit of a commiseration Friday as the Steelers, a big opportunity, slips through the cracks as they fall to the Bengals 33-31 last night in Cincinnati. Joining us now to discuss, wait, hold on, Matt, I totally messed this up. We got to at least get something right here.
Nice.
Gotta get Missy's walk-up music. Sorry about that, Missy. Not to throw you off anymore here on a Friday where we all slept for about 90 minutes. It is the queen of the sideline, Missy Matthews, with us here on The Drive. Missy, I got to imagine on a night like that for the defense where there were many issues, they weren't getting after Joe Flacco, they weren't forcing turnovers, the communication didn't seem to be spot on. What was kind of the temperature like on the sideline throughout that one last night and, particularly towards the end of the game?
I mean, you definitely it was bad, yes. You did not see, in-house fighting per se. It was just a lot of, almost disbelief in a way that you can go, the prior games of 5+ sacks, creating turnovers, just really being able to mess with opposing offenses to last night where it just felt like Joe Flacco and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Chase Brown and company could really do whatever they wanted and were dictating things. So I do think, it was a lot of disbelief, head shaking, trying to regroup, trying to rally the troops, trying to look at what happened and trying to fix it. It just felt like there was not anything that could happen to do that.
Was it kind of a helpless feeling? I know that sounds harsh for,
Yeah. I don't think they did.
Yeah.
I mean, I certainly did because you're just like, come on, guys. Especially at the end, whenever Freiermuth was able to get that second touchdown. But it did just feel like they weren't able to get off the field. And it just felt like a little slant would turn into a big thing, and not being able to also stop the run. It felt disjointed, I guess is probably the best way to put it. But I wouldn't say the players and team felt helpless. they were trying everything, but it wasn't screaming at each other or anything like that, which I don't know, maybe in a situation like that, you need that as well. But it was, it was rough to watch for sure.
So did you also have the feeling early, boy, the Steelers might run away with this? I mean, when it was 10-0, I thought, man, the Steelers are the better team. Bengals have had a rough year. It could be over quick.
No, because I'm a pessimist.
Okay.
So I always worry about things. Maybe a little part of me did, but I did think that they were doing things on offense where I'm like, that's cute. That would work if it did, but at the same time, like, why just keep getting points, even if it's a field goal? You know what I mean? Like, just add to your total. It was still so early in the game. And then it was 20 unanswered points. You're just like, oh boy.
Yeah. The tidal
wave. Something needs to, yeah. And it happened quick, and it just felt like they were not able to stop it, or in terms of the defense, and then on offense, they just were not able to get down the field and get points.
Missy, one thing that I was encouraged by was, we saw, I think, some guys that we had been waiting to have a breakout type game have breakout type games, namely Pat Freiermuth. I mean, 5 receptions, 111 yards, the 2 touchdowns. And Jaylen Warren as well, too. 16 carries, 127 yards, 7.9 yards per carry for him. The Steelers as a team, 7.4 yards per carry. That's what we've been wanting.
Yeah.
That is exactly what we've been looking for. And it was nice to see it from 30 and 88 last night.
Absolutely. And Max kept saying it on the broadcast, but it is exactly what I was thinking. Freiermuth always has a big game in Cincinnati.
He does.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter who the quarterback is.
Yeah.
It was with Kenny Pickett. He did it with Russ last year. It's something about Cincinnati, specifically in Cincinnati, that he just goes off. And I did feel like, he was due for a breakout game of, not being so involved in the offense as we are accustomed to him seeing. I mean, I think he had 7 touchdowns his rookie year with Ben. This is a guy there's a reason why they gave him a contract. So it was good to see that sort of worked. It is odd because, like you said, he had a great game, Jaylen Warren, but when you look at the offense, you're like, but it didn't feel like a great game. And I think it was a lot of the possession downs, the weighty downs, as Coach Tomlin calls them, and just their inability to get into this rhythm that felt that it carried over from drive to drive. So it kind of stinks for those guys that they had great games and such a game that was almost defeating. It doesn't, you look at the score, you're like, oh, it was close. It's like, it didn't feel like it was close.
So I often ask you about Aaron Rodgers because I'm so fascinated with him as a human, as a professional, as a future Hall of Famer, as an all-time great. And it seemed, just watching TV, as a lot of our listeners probably were, that, boy, he seemed, as usual, in complete control, total command, understood how to attack the defense. But I think it was also pretty clear that there were at least a handful of times that he was frustrated with his teammates, for screwing something up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you saw, on the flea flicker, he immediately, started talking to Jaylen on the field, and then it carried over off the field, not in a bad manner. I think he is, as you said, he diagnoses things so well. He sees things. He is a perfectionist. He wants everybody to be on the same page, to communicate, to be perfect too. And it's clear that when there is miscommunication or one person does the wrong thing, a play breaks down and it can end badly, which unfortunately for the offense, that happened several times yesterday. But then it's, they go over to the field. He's looking at the surface. Jaylen Warren comes over. He literally told him something. I'm reading his lips, that's on me. Sorry. Gave him a handshake. Arthur Smith kind of patted Jaylen on the back. He went back over by the running backs, Aaron and Arthur Smith, and, the quarterbacks and quarterback coach continue to go over things. So, I mean, even, when the touchdown happened and he's doing his jumping, almost it reminds me of Mario almost, with his hands and how he jumps, celebration after that last touchdown. And then Broderick kind of tackles him.
Yeah.
That was all over social media last night.
Yeah, he didn't seem too pleased. Yeah.
No, and it was weird because I was clearly like on the Steelers sideline, so I wasn't seeing it where I could see Aaron's face when it happened. And I saw it live, and I'm like, "What are they doing?" And I said, to one of the guys on the sideline, like, "Are they fighting?" And he's like, "No, I don't know," because I didn't see how they got to the ground. But he looked mad, and then everyone's like, "Oh no, they're good." And then, Aaron was very excited after that happened, even when he came over to the sideline. But then I saw the clip on social media. I'm like, "Oh, okay." My first instinct was right. He was not too happy about being taken to the ground by Broderick Jones. So, yeah, he is one of those guys where I think, he wears his emotions on his sleeve. You know where he stands. It's not like he sugarcoats things, which I think is what this offense needs and has needed, as we've seen kind of this evolution of them, especially, just from what last year was to this year. You talk about scoring on opening drives, like not just scoring on opening drives, but like scoring touchdowns on opening drives. So there's a lot of good, but it just felt like last night was a very disjointed performance.
I think that's a very good way to put it. Missy Matthews, the queen of the sideline, kind enough to give us some of her time here on a few hours of sleep on this Friday. Missy, thank you as always. Enjoy the weekend, get some rest, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, sounds good, guys. You too.
There she goes, Missy Matthews. And yeah, so game ends.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think I've kind of walked you through this before, but game ends, and it's like a mad rush for us.
I know you got a lot to do, yeah.
Because we got to clean everything up, break
yeah.
everything down, and we've got like 20 minutes to get from...
Plane's leaving with or without you.
Exactly right. The buses are leaving to the plane with or without us, and so we've got to get the equipment packed up. We've got to get it to the elevator and all the way downstairs into the Steelers equipment truck. And then you usually want to like grab some food or something.
Oh, I bet you're busy and hungry and
because you're starving and getting on the bus and on the plane and all that stuff. So that whole whirlwind happens. I get some food, get on the bus, all that, and you finally kind of like breathe for a second. And I looked at my phone. The first thing I do is pop open Twitter. And it is just that Broderick Jones and Aaron Rodgers clip. Every
I didn't see it till today, but yeah.
Every third tweet in my feed was somebody sharing that one.
I don't know if I misunderstood Missy talking about it live, but she said it sounded like he got over it real quick.
Yeah.
Like
I think he was just like, "What are you doing, idiot? Don't tackle me."
Right.
Like boys being boys almost type of thing.
Right, like I'm old and I get tackled enough. Don't do that. Right.
And it's also one of those things too that like, you hold on and you win that game, and that becomes kind of like a
they'd be laughing about
funny bonding rally. So much of yesterday, if you hold on to win that game, becomes a bonding rally.
It's amazing, right?
Nothing went our way. We couldn't stop the run. We couldn't stop the pass. We weren't forcing turnovers.
Just like we talked about last segment, if the kicker hits the upright as opposed to it going down the middle, all that stuff's funny, and it doesn't mean it's corrected.
Funny how? Like I amuse you?
Like a clown.
No, funny how? What's so funny? Matt, I do have a not so funny stat to run by you in our final segment here of the final hour. We'll do that, talk more. We'll just rapid game reaction. I feel like we'll do a game rewind on Monday since we have more time next week. You and I will both have time to rewatch and have more specific thoughts and minutia and all that, but we'll continue to just kind of...
I would think next week, too, we get into a little more draft stuff.
Totally.
And, some stuff,
totally.
We got a bunch of days to,
100% there with you on that. But we'll continue to just kind of download all of our thoughts from last night here on this show today. In hour number 2, we will get to some tweets. We will do our typical Around the League that we do on a Friday and run through the gambit of games as well. So plenty to get to as we continue here. We'll wrap up the first hour on the other side. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. All right, Matt. I know you're the stats guy here. You might have seen this one last night, but I did mention, that those 7 straight possessions with points.
Yeah.
8 of their last 9, I think it was, with points or 7 of their last 8 of their last 9, something like that when it all shook out. I said, I don't care if it's the greatest show on turf. I don't care if it's Montana and Rice. That can't happen.
Can't happen. Right.
Jamar Chase, 16 receptions. Did you see this?
I saw that part. Every one of them, yeah.
That ties Jerry Rice for the most receptions ever in a primetime game. I put in my notes here.
I'm surprised it's not number one.
I put in my notes here, Jerry bleeping Rice. If your opponent is doing something only Jerry Rice has done, that's never going to be good.
Never going to be good. It's funny, Jerry Rice came up a couple times recently. Joe Flacco, Jerry Rice, and Jan Stenerud are the only guys that got traded that are older than Joe Flacco.
Okay.
Jan Stenerud's a Hall of Fame kicker from like the 70s and 80s.
I have no idea.
Tom and I got a big kick out of that. He's
Jan
like, I remember.
Stenerud.
Yeah, he came over from Europe. He was like one of the first
sounds
soccer-style
conducting
kickers.
Pittsburgh Symphony.
And people were like, he revolutionized kicking. So Jerry Rice and Jan Stenerud are the only two guys in NFL history that are older than Flacco that got traded. Wow. Like, nobody wants you when you're that age. They put you out to pasture.
Sure.
Unless you're Jerry Rice.
That is a great stat. And Matt,
Yeah, that's nuts. Like you said, if you're doing the same things with Jerry Rice,
it's not good.
That's
well,
bad.
it's good for him.
It's good for him.
Bengals.
Bad for your opponent.
If your opponent is doing something that only Jerry Rice has done,
not great.
Not great.
He was ridiculously good last night, by the way.
He was.
I mean, sometimes you just have to go, wow, is that guy an amazing football player? The way he comes out of his breaks and how strong he is. And I mean,
he moves so well.
So well. I bet he was really fun to watch live, too.
Oh, my
it's
gosh.
different. Yeah.
That one where he bobbled it 4 or 5 times and then
I thought he might take it to the house.
Moved out of Slay's way. And that happened right in front of the booth. Right in front of us. And you know this
the coordination and balance.
Working in this industry, and I think you could still obviously relate to this. I mean, you were a scout in college, scout in the pros. You can get a little jaded going to so many games. And I always hesitate.
It gets somewhat routine, and it should never.
And I always hesitate to bring this up on air because I don't want to make it seem like I'm sticking my chest out and I get to go to so many Steeler games. But I go to 20. If you count preseason and playoffs, I've been going to 21 Steelers games a year, basically.
Sure.
For a long time. Ton of WVU games, ton of Penguins games.
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean?
These are professionals or high-end college athletes.
When I lived in Philadelphia, I went to a ton of Sixers games and saw Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and those Warriors teams play. Saw LeBron and those Lakers teams play. It's very rare, and I'm fortunate to say this at this point in my career, of the hundreds of sporting events that I've been to, either as a fan or covering professionally, to still be like, wow, that guy did something tonight that was different. That was special.
I hope everyone recognizes that. That's why I brought it up, because what he did was as good a receiver day as you'll ever see in the history of the game. It's
when I was in college, LSU came to Morgantown. It was the first time game day ever came to Morgantown. They were ranked 3rd in the country. We were ranked 18th, something like that. Huge
big game, yeah.
And LSU beat us. And I'm telling you, if they didn't have Tyrann Mathieu, WVU wins the game. I
always said this about Troy, and his hair made it obvious, but I'm not making fun of my wife, but she doesn't know what a first down is. But if you go to a game and she's like, who's 43? Who's 66? To me, that's the test. People don't know anything.
Yes.
Go, who's that guy?
When my wife
that would have been last night.
When my wife and I went 10 years ago to watch the Lakers play the Sixers in Philly, I'll never forget, LeBron had this play. He took 3 steps from midcourt and dunked it. Prime athlete LeBron just exploded through the defense and threw it down. And my wife was like, that's not normal.
Yeah.
I was like, no, sweetheart, it's not.
A good friend of mine, our sons are the same age, and he invited us to go, and we couldn't go. But they did the typical, let's go up to Cleveland for a preseason game just so we can see an NBA game. And he came back, and I remember us having beers with him that night. He took his son, who was a big hooper. He was 8 years old. He was young. He just wanted to see an NBA game. Took him to a preseason game. He comes back. He's like, LeBron didn't play. That sucked. But this guy they called the Greek Freak did. And I'd never heard of him. But holy smokes. He's 6'10" and takes 3 strides, and he's up and down the court. Everyone on the planet's like, who's that?
Yep.
That was last night.
We lost by 13, I think, to LSU, WVU in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And Tyrann Mathieu, he played unbelievable. He forced 2 turnovers. One of them, he blitzed from the slot. Gino tried to dump it over his head to Tavon Austin. He jumped up and tipped it to himself and caught it, juked out Tavon Austin and took it for a pick 6.
He had a great pro career, but he was one of the best college defensive backs you'll ever see.
He probably should have won the Heisman,
He should have won the Heisman
as a defensive back. I'm walking off the field and I'm telling all the people I work with, I'm pissed off, but I'm like, if they don't have a strong safety, they lose that game. You know what I mean? They don't have Chase Brown last night, and he's a wide receiver. There's more
Jamar
direct.
Chase, yeah.
Jamar Chase, pardon me. There's
and the other quarterback just couldn't give him the ball. Like
right.
I mean, if it wasn't if they would have had average quarterback play these last couple of weeks, Bengals season would be a lot different, right?
Matt, 100,
and he wouldn't do that every week. But I mean,
sure,
it's probably going to be his best game of the year.
If you throw him the ball 23 times a week, he's going to put up some numbers. But
there's not really an answer for him.
But what's
the only answer is when their quarterback can't hit him.
Exactly right.
Right.
What's crazy to me about that is he didn't have one single what they would classify. We talk about this all the time as explosive play.
Right. It wasn't he had that 80-yarder.
His longest catch was 18 yards. That doesn't even qualify as an explosive play.
Which is a compliment.
That's what I mean. It makes it more impressive.
Right. They couldn't do anything against him. It wasn't like they screwed up once.
And he had an 80-yarder, and that completely skews his average.
Right.
He didn't even have
Deshaun Jackson gets behind the defense because he's super fast. He didn't do anything else the rest of the day.
Man, he didn't even have a 20-yarder, which is
every route was productive.
Just insane. Just insane. And then
if you don't care about this game, back to the point, you should have loved watching that.
Awesome.
You're right. Like if he plays Monday night next week and he beats the Browns doing that, like, Chase is awesome.
Great,
I love
man.
that guy.
Right. He's outstanding. And it just felt like one of those games where you were just waiting for the defense to make a big play and they never did.
Yeah, because they so often do.
They so often do.
Even like when TJ and Cam collided for the sack, I'm like, there's going to be another one coming.
Exactly right.
There's going to be a tip.
They had one sack early. I think it was the first possession, Keanu Benton.
Yeah.
And then that one late, TJ and Cam. That was it.
When's the tip ball coming that's going to end up in a sack? Or
one or two other TFLs, I want to say.
Right, there was no big plays.
And that's the double-edged sword of this Steelers defense.
Live by it and die by it.
Live by it and die by it. Live by the sword, die by the sword.
And you have to be better on a down-to-down basis. That's all year long.
When they're not winning the sack differential, when they're not winning the turnover differential, it is tough for them to be the defense that they should be, that they're supposed to be.
And that part's troubling.
It is.
They're great at creating splash. Great. As good as you're going to see. But it's hard to count on, and the days you don't.
And I understand
it's been a slog.
Like, not everybody in the league has the pass catchers that Cincinnati have.
Of course.
Not even close.
Of course. A lot of teams wouldn't have still won the game.
How much did we talk about leading up to Thursday, too? This is why you went out and got Ramsey. This is why you went out and got Slay. This is why you went out and reworked that secondary, was for opponents like this.
Exactly.
And it looked like that.
Yeah.
Not great.
Against these two, what you did wasn't good enough in the offseason. And if they played again tomorrow or in 2 months,
hey, could be they do play again in a few weeks. And it certainly could be different.
I'm sure. Yeah, but I don't know who's covering Chase. I mean, frankly, this is a problem every defense is going to have. I mean, maybe Surtain would do better. Or there's 5 or 6 guys that would battle him.
Sure.
Not to a draw even, but would
Sauce
lose.
And Surtain.
Yeah. I mean, there's some guys, the elite guys, but to think, man, we're able to shut down Chase now, and then Higgins, ain't happen.
No.
Yeah.
It's not.
And Slay worries me. I still think Ramsey's fine. Porter's a little grabby, but Slay might be a little old.
And it's Matt. It's not even because you and I said this. Every reasonable Steelers fan or media member said this. You knew those guys were going to make some plays.
They will next week. They will the week after.
You could play perfect defense on Steph Curry. He's going to make some shots.
Yeah.
Like, it's just going.
When he drains one from half court, there's not a lot you can do about it.
It's going to happen. But it was way more than it was way more obvious.
It was excessive.
If those guys just make some plays, you probably get out of there with a 31-27 win or something like that.
That's why I said the sin was the run defense, because that.
Bad.
It was bad. I mean, right? Yeah.
6.2 yards per carry, and that includes with kind of Flacco's, skewed with the sack averages in there too. I'm sure if we take out Flacco's 5 carries for 3 yards, I'm using air quotes there. That average,
one of those was like a sneak, and one of them was a push or something like that. Yeah, right. But the run defense to me is more troubling than Lemieux got a hat trick against you. Okay. I mean, he's going to get a hat trick against the Blackhawks and Capitals later in the year, too. You just happen to be on the wrong end of a bad night against the stud. Well, the run defense, though, especially with their history of being a bad running team, ooh.
I did not think that we'd get back to the point of, or that we'd get to a point now where maybe if you polled the Steelers fans today, and people are hyperbolic.
No, of course.
You laid this out like a couple plays and we're all singing a different tune today. I've said many times, football is our favorite sport in this country. It's religion, and you get 17 maybe meaningful games a year if you're lucky for your team. Everybody does this. But I bet you if you polled Steelers fans right now, they might be feeling better about the offense than the defense. And I don't think
nobody saw that part coming.
After what we saw last night, after what Aaron Rodgers was able to do, after what Jalen Warren was able to do.
And we should recognize that was a bad defense, but I'm trusting the offense more.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, that is the real bummer to me because I'm sure you probably do this too. Once you get to the fourth quarter of games, I'm starting to think, what's the storyline? What's the headline? You know what I mean? If I'm Kabali and Dulac, or if I'm Dale and I had to actually write stories, what's the headline? What's lead?
My angle? Yeah.
And it changed 5 different times in the last 5 minutes. Because you're like, okay, the angle is that now the offense did enough to make up for it, and you're feeling great about the offense, and wow, Aaron Rodgers.
Booth broke free. Holy cow, saved the day.
Okay, now the angle is going to be the defense is going to be able to make the one play they need to win this game.
Tough night, but they made that one play.
And they were bad for 58 minutes, but they made... Okay, now the angle switches back to, the defense was bad, and the offense wasn't able to do enough, and those 2 turnovers really loom large, and...
It was, and that's how games go.
A lot.
That's what people want. That's why people tune in every Sunday.
I'll be honest with you. There's times where going back and watching the game and checking my notes and taking more notes and all that stuff can become a little bit of a task. It won't be whenever probably Sunday night. Sometime Sunday when I rewatch this game, I'm very excited to sit down and rewatch this game.
Oh, I bet.
Because there's so much back and forth. There's so much to get.
It is entertaining game. Right.
There's been times in the past years. I'm sure you can relate to this. The Steelers win a game 16-10, and I'm like, I'm not excited to go back and watch this.
I kind of know the script, and
those games where Kenny Pickett would make a couple plays at the end of the game, and they'd win 14-10, and I'm like, I'm not excited to go back and watch this. This was not a Mona Lisa. I'm excited to go back. I don't know if excited is the right word, but I'm looking forward to being able to watch this.
There'll be a lot of tidbits from it,
Because, again, particularly that second half, particularly that fourth quarter, there was a lot going on.
There was certainly a lot of action.
Yes. Absolutely.
And, again, it's an entertaining game if you're not in this camp. 31 other teams really enjoyed watching
31 other teams really enjoyed
especially
it, but unfortunately...
the AFC North teams, which we got to get. I mean, the state of the division changed drastically. At some point in the next hour or Monday, we got to talk about how it affects the Ravens and Bengals.
And maybe we can start there when we come back, just for a few minutes. I know we want to go around the league. We got a bunch of tweets we want to get into.
Yeah, there's plenty.
Man, if you would have told me at the start of the season the Steelers would be 4-2 after their first 6 games, I would have said, let's do it.
We'd all sign up for that, sure.
Let's do it.
Right.
But man, it does not feel that way today. It certainly does not feel that way today when you open the door for the rest of the AFC North and you are now 4-2 instead of 5-1 with a trio of tough games coming up here against the Packers, the Colts, and the Chargers. Let's get into that more.
Yeah, I got a lot to say.
Let's get into that more to start hour number 2. Get to some of your tweets. We'll go around the league and give our thoughts on all the other Week 7 games as well too. All of that and more in hour number 2. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Good evening, Steeler Nation. How we doing? Yeah.
Yeah, not so great.
Yes, same with us. But at least it's
Go
a Friday.
enjoy your weekend, folks.
That's the thing. It's a Friday. It's a fall weekend. We'll wallow in it today, but then after that, let's all breathe and get back to it. Because, Matt, listen, that's the weird part of this, is in the big picture, I think pretty much every reasonable Steeler fan would have signed up for 4-2 after 6 games.
Yeah. And everyone, not to
first
speak for
place
you,
in the division, 4-2 after 6 games. That's all you get told in August.
And I'm so dumb, and I do it every year. The day the schedule comes out, we do a show, and you look at it, and I'm like, oh, Thursday night in Cincy. That's not going to go well. And it didn't.
It didn't. It was not the Joe Burrow-led Cincinnati Bengals that we expected. Heck, Trey Hendrickson didn't even play. Cam Taylor-Britt didn't even play.
Well, he got benched because
he got benched for disciplinary
issues.
I
think he got benched because he's not very good.
Oh, that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there we go.
Regardless,
both, yeah. It just... It's a weird type of day because you can't be anything but disappointed, frustrated, upset with how that went Thursday night in Cincinnati.
But we're all crazy to assume you're going to win just walking into any NFL game.
Yes.
I mean, that's nuts, and we all do it.
I know I've told you this story before, but one of the first couple weeks that Moats and I think it was kind of a lot like you and Dale. Moats and I started doing the show together, The Blitz, in 2018, and it was like we met the day before.
Just getting
in a meeting with our boss, Brian.
Okay.
And then the next day we started doing a show together. So
boom.
There's a whole feeling out process and all that. And I remember we're going through games or something like that a couple weeks into it, and I was like, I don't know if they'll blow them out. Like I use that term, a blowout. And Moats was like, let me just ask you real quick, like, what is a blowout to you in the NFL?
We've had this conversation. I like it.
And I think my answer was like 2 touchdowns. You know, like if you lose by 2 or more touchdowns, that's 13 points, 14 points or more, that's a blowout. And he kind of like grinned, and I was like, why? What's a blowout? And he was like, in the NFL, anything more than a possession is a blowout. Like he's like, it's not Alabama. I'll never forget this. He goes, it's not Alabama playing South Central Missouri, Tennessee Western.
Yeah.
You know?
These are all professional, big-time dudes.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
He's like, every team has millionaires. Every team has all pros. Every team has coaches that know if we lose a couple games here, I'm going to be moving my family and looking for a new job, and I'm going to have to tell my son and my daughter that they're not going to school with their friends anymore.
And they're devious game planners and nasty, schemers. I'm talking about just the coaches. Yeah.
And so I think we are at times. I know everyone wants to talk about trap games. I don't think they exist really in the NFL. Now, if you're playing the Jets this weekend and you go and lose, maybe it's a trap game, but there's so few examples of that.
Especially in division.
If you're playing the Jets next week and then the Ravens on a short week and you lose to the Jets, maybe you could convince me that's a trap game.
Yeah.
But in the NFL, there's hardly any trap games. There's not these, 20-some point favorites that you see. Penn State losing to UCLA is 24-point favorites or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like you hardly ever get spreads over double digits in the NFL.
I mean, and unlike college, so many of these guys are a 30-year-old guard with 4 kids, $35 million in the bank, that eats, works out.
That's it.
Everything.
Football is life.
To do this as long as he humanly possibly can, and that's why he has $35 million in the bank with 4 happy kids. You know what I mean?
Because there's 0.001% of the 8 billion people on this planet that can do it.
Right. And I know how to maintain that I am invited back next
Football
year.
Football is life.
Right.
I mean, look at Cam and how he's managed to Aaron Rodgers. Like, you ever watch Ted Lasso, the TV show?
Yeah, I love it.
Football is life.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's like how it is for all these guys in the NFL. And so maybe some of that is on us.
Every team has a lot of them.
Again, maybe we're naive to think, like, we're all predicting Steelers go in there and win 21-10 or 27-14. Like, maybe we're naive to be at that point. But man, like I said, the weird
these
thing,
aren't excuses, folks.
No.
Right.
This is just us reality here. But I also at the same time, like, it's I'm driving in today and I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, it's a weird place to be, because again, if you would have told me at the beginning of the year, 4-2 in the AFC North after 6 games. You've got, a game-and-a-half lead on the Bengals and a 3.5 game lead, 2.5 game lead on the Ravens?
Yeah.
All of us would have signed when training camp started. If we would have said on October 17th, you're 4-2, you're first place in the North by multiple games, I would have said, prick my finger. I'll sign in blood right now. Where do I sign?
You lose in Cincinnati into a good Seattle
But
team.
it doesn't feel that way after last night's loss.
It doesn't. And a lot of that's immediate reaction, and you got a really long stretch here. If they beat the Packers next Monday, everyone's going to be losing their mind,
Back to, we're going to host a playoff game and we're going to go on a run.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they got this 3-game stretch coming up. Now, I'm not going to pretend that every game's as easy as the next. I mean,
sure.
But this next 3 games for Steelers could go very bad. I mean,
there's no doubt.
Chargers, Colts, and Packers, that could be an 0-4 stretch. And then you really have a different feel.
Absolutely.
I mean, times a million, right?
Absolutely, especially because 2 of those games are at home. 2 of those 3 are at home.
Right.
The one in L.A. is the Sunday Night Football out there, which will be a weird 5:20 local start for us for the 8:20 kickoff. But you get the Packers at home now, especially too, with extra time to rest and prepare, and you get the Colts at home as well too.
You better respond.
Yeah, I mean, you better respond, and
you don't want to look back on the year and be like, that Thursday nighter was the beginning of the end.
Kind of like that stretch that the Steelers had around Christmas last year where things started to fall apart. You cannot let this be that stretch for you. And maybe it's a good spot for them to be in early in the season. Like, you also don't want to be comfortable.
No.
It's one thing if you're the Chiefs and you'd been to like the last 3 Super Bowls and you go 15-2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you trust that team to know we got to turn it on. We've been here. We've done this. That's so rare.
Right.
That's so rare. Typically, you got to.
That was like the beauty of Belichick. You never let those Patriot teams get that way.
Never.
Right. Every day was harsh.
For almost everybody, you got to take your lumps up and down, up and down. I saw this on social media last night. I forget who posted it. I think it was a national person actually, that had, like some Steeler fan that tweeted them. It might have been someone from NFL Network or ESPN, and some Steeler fan was like, this is proof that we can't be any better this year, and we're either going to miss the playoffs or we're going to get blown out, one and done again, And he quote tweeted it, and he was like, hey, just so you know, Tom Brady's first year in Tampa, early in that season,
they were disastrous.
They went to New Orleans, or actually I think it was a home game in Tampa. They lost like 30-6 to the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Like same thing, was week 7 or week 8, say end of October, similar timeline.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they were at home, and New Orleans and Drew Brees went in there, and it was like 30-3 or 30-6 was the final score. Mm-hmm. And he was like, hey, that Tampa team won the Super Bowl. He's like, I'm not saying the Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl, but you can have bad losses. Almost every team, almost every Super Bowl champion team has bad losses. It happens. It's about how you respond and how you get better and how you improve from there. And maybe the Steelers needed that a little bit. Maybe they were, as much as every athlete, every coach preaches singularly focused. They're humans.
They still bad days.
This is another thing Moats would talk about all the time. We could talk about singularly focused. We can talk about one game, 1 week at a time, 1-0, forget everybody else, forget the bigger picture. And he's like, and that is true. You try and do that, but you're still human. We're 4-1.
One day's better than the next.
Look at Baltimore and look at Cincinnati and look at Cleveland. Maybe this could be a good crossroads moment, a good kind of kick in the backside for them to not be as comfortable as maybe they've been the last couple weeks.
So this comes from Ron Jaworski, who was way ahead of his time in terms of, he was a good quarterback, but then he really became a quarterback analyst. And like Greg Cosell learned from Jaws. This is 80s stuff, a long time ago, who learned from like great coaches and all this stuff. And Jaws has this theory that all the work he's done on quarterbacks, and being a former quarterback who was in the league for a long time, a long-time starter, a good player, that every quarterback has like 2 games a year where you just don't have your fastball. I bet pitchers are the same. And I can't let anyone know, and I got to paint the corners, or I got to figure out something. And I bet every position does,
Sure.
If you told Cam Hayward or Pouncey or Watt or whoever.
Even future Hall of Fame type guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Like maybe I still was better than the average defensive end, but it wasn't a very good day for me.
It was a 6 out of 10 for
Yeah,
me,
I got away with it. Or boy,
my
I didn't get away with it.
My 6 out of 10 might be a 7.5 for everybody else.
Right. Or man, I just wasn't skating as well. I couldn't shoot that day, or whatever.
My curveball wasn't curving.
Yeah, they're all going to have those days.
They are. They absolutely are. And unfortunately for the Steelers, a lot of them had those days yesterday, while Cincinnati.
Nobody picked each other up on defense.
Exactly. Yeah, particularly on defense.
The offense was great.
You find a way to win that game. We're coming in here today, or the whole first hour, we're singing the praises of the offense and talking about the offensive line and talking about Jalen Warren and Aaron Rodgers and Pat Freiermuth and all that. Yeah. That's what makes it a little disappointing.
Right.
And that's the way she goes.
49% of that game was good.
Yeah. The 2 analogies that I really like are Pursuita's. You had a chance to knock them out in the first couple rounds, and you lost the decision in 15. And that, to me, was a presidential election type performance.
Mm-hmm.
You lost 49% of it.
Yeah.
But all the other side needed 51 was to celebrate victory and claim supreme power and have you feeling like total doo-doo.
Right.
Ultra Hank tweets us. Let's get that. We've got a couple minutes left in this segment, and then we'll do a beefy around the league segment. And then we'll close with some tweets on the other side again. Ultra Hank tweets and said it felt like they were playing 10 Mississippi on the pass rush for Cincinnati. A couple times, but flag.
The Bengals pass rush or the Steelers pass rush?
I think he means the Steelers pass rush.
They both were.
Both
pass rush was
were
really
non-existent.
bad. There were some Steeler snaps that were 5, 6,
And
7
that's what I was going to
seconds,
say.
too.
There were plenty of times that Flacco got rid of that thing in 2 seconds.
Oh,
but
yeah,
there
yeah,
were
a lot.
also plenty of times that he was dropping back for 3, 3.5,
Yeah.
4, 4.5 seconds.
Both these older quarterbacks didn't have to elude as much rush, which isn't their specialty at this moment.
In an alternate universe, maybe the Steelers have 3 sacks in that game.
Yeah.
But there was no universe where they were getting 6 or 7 in
No,
that game.
no.
I mean, I remember one where TJ was a millisecond away towards the end of the game that Flacco got it off. But other than that,
No, the pressure was a letdown
yes,
for sure.
yes.
And I didn't see that coming.
Andrew tweet. No, I did not. I did not either. Andrew tweets us and said the Steelers defense went from creative blitzing and utilizing Herbig to going vanilla, and only 38% of the snaps for number 51. Not sure if it's just a Thursday night road game, not having time to install, so they reverted to some basics. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't have a great answer.
That's another thing that maybe we can talk about a little bit more on Monday after we both have a chance to rewatch.
And I bet I won't have a great answer because Herbig needs to play a lot, and I'll always say that no matter how that formula ends up, and he didn't play as much as I would have played him, no matter what the reasoning is, unless I hear something that changes my mind.
And if it was one thing where, like, the Bengals led from start to finish, and so they were just running the ball, and you wanted your bigger bodies out there in the run game, but that wasn't the case.
Because Sawyer played more than I would have played him. I mean,
and maybe that was a function of the Thursday night short week.
Maybe. Maybe. I mean, none of these guys are 100% healthy.
No,
That's
another Moatsism. The only time you're 100% healthy is those first couple days of acclimation practice in Latrobe.
Okay.
And then once the calendar turns to August and you put the pads on, nobody's 100% healthy from that first training camp practice.
And there's a difference. I mean, that doesn't mean they had to be on the injury report.
Sure,
you're not
you might
cheating.
still be 98%.
Something's bothering everybody.
My elbow's a little sore.
Or even Tomlin afterwards said, no significant injuries, which. Good.
Yeah.
By the way.
That doesn't mean the guys are feeling great this morning.
No, but I wonder was something. But I mean, it's a shortcut to analyzing, and I've told you this because I've done it longer than you. I hate talking about injuries.
Yeah,
but
agreed.
If you've been around a team, you walk through the training room, it's like, how did any of these guys play? He's got a bruise on him this big and things like that.
You remember all the old pictures? People used to love them. They still pop up on social media of like Ben walking around at practice, and he's got a big ice wrap on one shoulder, and his ribs are tied, and his knees got ice. He looks like a catcher who just caught 14 innings of an extra innings baseball game with big ice packs on his knees.
There's a famous picture from like 10 years ago of J.J. Watt had a bruise really from like his waist.
I remember that picture.
Like a large portion of his huge leg.
Looked like someone took purple paint and threw it on half of his body.
Painted it deep, with 2 coats.
Yes.
I mean, and that probably people were like, I bet that bugging you, JJ. Get back in practice, But my reasoning is maybe Herbig was dealing something. I don't know. You know what I mean? But if that's not the answer, 38% of snaps isn't enough for me.
I think
that's a short
well
answer, I guess.
Yeah. Let's take a break here. We will close with tweets in the final segment, but we're going to go around the league when we return on the other side. A fun slate of games on this NFL Sunday that we will get to when we return. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Penultimate segment of the week here. We'll get back into final Steelers and Bengals commiserations on the other side, but it is time for our Friday tradition of going around the league here, giving a quick 60 seconds, 90 seconds thoughts on each of these games, and there are some good ones once again that we'll run through here, and then how about this little bonus for you, Matt? At the end of us running the gambit of NFL picks here, I've got 3 or 4 college football games for people to keep an eye on Saturday as well, too, from that black and gold quarterback perspective that we've been following all year. But let's start across the pond at Wembley Stadium in London. Jacksonville hosting the Rams. The Rams 3.5-point favorites for that early 9:30 East Coast kickoff time.
Yeah, I do think there's value to the Jags playing in London as often as they do, especially after we went over there. I'm like, if you did this a lot, there would be a bonus for that.
And think the Rams have to come the whole way across the country first before going.
I don't know why they didn't stay in Baltimore. They played in Baltimore last week.
Make no sense.
Right. Spend 2 days somewhere on the East Coast and go over early. I don't know why they didn't.
Did they do that? I don't think they did.
I didn't hear that they did. I mean, but maybe it's true. I'm still picking the Rams. I think
they did. They stayed.
Oh, did they? Good.
Okay, they stayed in Baltimore. They practiced at Camden Yards, the Orioles venue, and then flew to London.
Good. Okay, that makes so much more sense.
But that's also still that's 2 weeks
away from home.
That's 10 days away from home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, different time zones.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
As opposed to the Jags, who
do it all the time.
Do it all the time.
Yeah, I do think there's an advantage to that. But the Jags O-line against pressure was really, really bad last week, and I think that Rams front is a massive advantage in this game. I don't think Puka is going to play, which is big, but a big thing for me here is McVay taught Liam Cohen kind of all he knows, and I'm going with the master here, not the Padawan.
This is a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is one that I would like to stay away from. This is one I would just like to stay away from. I could see either team pulling it out here. I do think the Rams are the better team. I think Jacksonville is more experienced with this type of travel scenario.
Yeah.
I think I'm with you, though. If I have to pick, gun to my head, I got to make a call. I think I'll lay the points with the Rams as well, too. Just I like the quarterback more.
Mm-hmm.
I like the head coach more. I think they're just a little bit better of a team. But I'll tell you what, we've kind of said this now. It feels like 3 weeks in a row for Jacksonville because they had the Chiefs and then Seattle and now the Rams. I mean, 3 good teams that Jacksonville's played in a row here. If Jacksonville can win this, that'll tell me a lot about that team. If they can,
it'll be a big win.
If they can win 2 of those 3 in that tough stretch,
rebound after a tough loss.
Yeah. 5-2. I'd be like, all right, this team.
Now you're going the right direction.
They're going to play 17 meaningful games this season and either go to the playoffs or be playing for a playoff
They'll be
spot
in it. Yeah.
In Week 18. Chicago hosting New Orleans. Heck, the Steelers are going to see the Bears before too much longer now as well, too. Bears playing much better, feeling much better about themselves. New Orleans just 1-5, but they've been competitive in pretty much every single game. At Soldier Field in Chicago, 1 o'clock kickoff. The Bears 4.5-point favorites.
Saints aren't horrible. They don't have great players, but they play teams tough.
Yeah, they're not getting blown out like the Jets have been.
No. I mean, they had a couple bad games early, but they're competitive, and I think they're well coached. I also think the Bears just won a big one that a lot of people didn't think they could, and they're a young team. I often think, you're a little vulnerable. But I also think they're kind of turning a corner. I think the Saints keep it close, though. I want points in this one. This
is one, if it's Chicago 3.5, 2.5, I'd lay the points with the Bears.
Yeah.
I think taking the points in this one is smart because this feels like a 3-4 point win for
either team.
Whatever team,
Yeah.
either way. And so in that case, I'm with you. I think the smart, savvy play here is to take the points and take New Orleans plus 4.5. In Cleveland, this one could be ugly, and not just because they're expecting. Did you see this? 50-mile-an-hour winds.
Oh, I didn't know there was extreme weather. I didn't know what it was, though.
Well, they're saying 40 to 50 mile an hour. I'm maybe just exaggerating a little bit with the bigger number. And, now the Browns are like, this is why we're building a stadium away from the lake with a dome.
Sure.
So the weather might not be ideal. 2 teams that are really struggling. The Browns are 2.5-point favorites at home. By far the lowest over-under of the week at 36.5.
Which just has to be super weather-related.
Yeah.
I'm just taking points. These are 2 of the worst teams in the league.
Take Cleveland plus 2.5. Or sorry, Miami plus 2.5. See, I think I'm going to lay them with Cleveland.
Okay.
That Miami offense and bad weather, I don't like it.
It is a finesse throw the ball around.
It's a finesse. Right. It's a lot of Ferraris and Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
And that's not the kind of car I want to be driving in Cleveland in October.
And the Browns D is good.
Yeah, no doubt. And they're another team maybe a little, honked off about their performance last week, although I guess Miami's proverbially been in that spot as well, too.
Neither team's in a good spot.
Tennessee back at home hosting New England. Vrabel and 20 some of his staff who used to work there roll back into Music City looking for some revenge. The Patriots 6.5-point favorites on the road.
I think the world's a little too ahead of themselves on the Patriots.
Agree.
But I just think this is not a interim coach bump situation. I just think the Titans are broken. And I bet Vrabel wants to win big. Just in terms of covering, he might push the envelope a little bit late.
I don't like a 6.5 point road favorite. That's a lot of points to be laying on the road. But I think Vrabel and his staff are going to want this one bad in decisive fashion, and it might even be something like they're up 4 late and they score a touchdown. I don't like laying 6.5 points with a road team, but I will here with New England. I think
Tennessee's in a really bad spot.
Really bad spot.
Bad football team.
And I'm with you too. I think people are a little too high on the Patriots. But hey, maybe another week of that continues.
Yeah. I think they have a real easy schedule coming up. People might continue to inflate them a little bit.
Yeah. Kansas City is at home. Biggest spread of the weekend. They are 12.5 point favorites at home over the Raiders.
I fear that Kansas City's now the best team in the league, and it's going to get boring.
At least in the AFC.
Yeah. And I don't like the Raiders. But Kansas City doesn't blow teams out very much.
All they do is play one-score games.
They just control the action.
12.5's a lot.
That's a lot of points. I think I'm taking the points.
Like, Kansas City could be up 20.
Yeah.
Geno Smith throws a garbage time touchdown to Brock Bowers.
He's not having a great year, but Geno's still
okay.
I mean, he knows how to win this league. Right, yeah.
Jacoby Meyer with 40 seconds left and a garbage time touchdown, and the Raiders back to recover. I think I'm going to take the 12.5 is a lot of points to lay.
Yeah. I mean, if Mahomes doesn't play the last 2 series, or Chris Jones is sitting out.
And I'm 99.9% confident Kansas City's going to win. But as you mentioned, they don't ever blow anybody out. It's just not what they do.
Double-digit points this year seem like a winner.
A fun one in Minnesota. The Eagles roll in there to U.S. Bank Stadium. Will it be J.J. McCarthy? Will it be – I want the Carson Wentz, the revenge.
I think it's going to be Wentz. I don't know if they've announced it, but I think that's the lean.
It sounded like that's the lean, but they haven't completely closed the door on McCarthy. But I want to see Wentz against the Eagles.
Yeah.
Could Wentz – I mean, the Eagles are reeling a little bit. Could Wentz kind of drive that knife in a little bit more? Philadelphia over kind of this last decade-ish that they've been very good, dating back to Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz. Man, they've had Minnesota's number. They've beaten them in some big games, some playoff games, the NFC Championship game. Philly 2.5 point favorites at the Vikings.
I think Minnesota wins.
I think so too.
I think the Eagles have some issues. Awful place to play coming off a bye. It's kind of all I need to know.
I'm with you. I'm surprised that Philly's favored. I thought Minnesota would be favored like 1.5.
There's 3 I think there's 3 games this week. This is the first one that I think the wrong team's favored.
Okay. I'm with you on that. Let's see what the other 2 are here as we roll along.
I think it's 3.
The Jets still looking for their first win. Jets at home against Carolina, who showed some life.
Yeah.
Carolina, a 1.5 point favorite at MetLife.
Carolina can run the ball, and I think that's enough in this.
No
Garrett Wilson's not playing. I just don't know where the
more like 3.5, 4.5 for Carolina.
I just don't know where the Jets' offense comes from. I mean, they don't have much in the way of playmakers right now.
I completely agree with you, and it feels like I was going to say it's getting late in New York, but it's already.
No, it's late.
It's already late.
Yeah.
They're already toast. Yeah, I think Carolina, they're 3-3. They've got everything to play for, legitimately.
I don't trust them. They're very up and down.
Same.
But I don't trust. I'm not betting on the Jets.
At least one of these teams has something to play for.
Yeah.
And a real opportunity. Into the 4 o'clock slate of games here. 4:05, Mile High Stadium. The Broncos, the Yonkos, as Myron Cope would have said, host the suddenly feeling much better about themselves New York Giants. Denver, this is another chunky one, Matt. 7.5 point favorite at home.
I think it's too big a number.
That is a big number.
Because I'm not sold on the Giants. Everyone knows my Scattaboo and Dart take, and I love Denver's defense. But Denver's offense is not really clicking right now.
Bo Nix is doing the sophomore slump thing.
Yeah, Giants have a D-line. I just think it's close. Denver wins at home. Over a touchdown, give me 7.5.
I'll take New York plus 7.5 as well. If that's 5.5, 6.5, I'm probably laying with the Broncos. But over a touchdown, I want the points. Charger, maybe this is the other one that you think the wrong team's favored. This is, for Steelers fans, I think the kind of the must-watch game of the weekend because it's 2 important foes in the AFC, and it's 2 teams that you have on the schedule here in the next 3 weeks.
Real soon, yeah.
The Colts go to L.A. to play the Chargers at 4:05. Chargers 1.5 point favorites.
It's one of the 3. I don't quite understand why the Chargers
They're
are
just getting the home bump, but
they have no home field advantage. They'll probably be 40% Colts fans.
Correct.
I don't know how well that organization travels, but you can get Tickets pretty cheap for that game always.
You can get tickets for that game as low as just $32 right now.
Wow, that's insane.
Which is the
And the Colts are just better.
Second lowest of the week other than Cleveland, Miami.
Really?
Yeah.
And this is a good game.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Come
it
on.
is.
I just think the Colts are a better team.
I do too. This does feel like a Harbaugh spot, though, man, a little bit.
Like, what's Vegas know? I mean, these 3 games where I'm like, the spread's wrong. That's basically saying I know more than Vegas, and I know that I do not.
I think I'm gonna lay him with the Chargers. I just feel like a weird Harbaugh. They grind it out. They find a way to frustrate the Colts, and finally something doesn't go Indy's way. You know,
They might be due for one of those.
They might be due for one of those type games. Another fun one here at 425 could be fun just because I think it'll be wild and crazy. Dallas hosting Washington.
I think there's going to be a ton of points
in this one. You could see some good quarterback play.
Yeah.
Dallas, a 1.5 favorite at home against the Commanders.
Yeah, I don't quite know why they're the favorite either.
That one surprises me.
me.
I don't think either of us are crazy high on the Commanders, but I definitely like them more than I do Dallas.
I think CeeDee Lamb comes back. McLaurin doesn't. But to me, and this is true for every Cowboy game, a lot of points. I mean, the defense is hideous. And Dak with Lamb and Pickens, they're really playing well. But Dallas's run defense is especially bad. I mean, Rico Dowdell's running for 200 on them. And Washington's probably the best rushing offense in the league.
They're very good.
Yeah. I'll take them.
I think that you're right. I think Washington controls the ball, controls the clock, keeps that Cowboys offense off the field. I like Washington plus 1.5.
Now, so if you're giving me points too, the better team's getting points?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I know it's on the road, but Jerry World's another one of those places. Away fans always show up there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is it really that hard a place to play?
I don't think so.
It doesn't seem that way ever to me.
Not as it should be for being one of the league.
I think they get
it's not like going to Pittsburgh or going to Lambeau or going to San Francisco like
Philly
these other flagship organizations
right.
across the league.
I just feel like their fans can turn on the Cowboys at times too.
For sure. Arizona at home at 425 against the Packers, the Steelers' next opponent in Glendale. Green Bay, 6.5-point road favorites.
I don't feel strong, but I'm going to take the Packers. I'm having a hard time getting behind Arizona at the moment. I don't know what they're good at.
They're another one who's managed to keep it close. They took the Colts down to the wire last week.
And Green Bay's not blowing anybody out.
But I'm waiting. I've been waiting for Green Bay to have one of those here they are again type performances like they did the first 2 weeks when we were all like, this might be the best team in the NFL right now.
I keep saying that too, and it doesn't happen. So maybe
it's been 3 straight games and
it's like okay, I'm going to take Green Bay, but that's one of my least favorite bets of the week if I had to put money on it.
I think I'm with you on that. I think Arizona is due for another kind of lopsided loss. I think Green Bay's due for putting in the type of performance that we know that they're capable of. Last one, Sunday night. This is a big one in the NFC, potentially wild card race. San Francisco at home hosts the Atlanta Falcons, feeling good about themselves. After a big Monday night win against Buffalo, they go across the country to Santa Clara, where the Niners are 2.5-point favorites on Sunday Night Football.
That's another one I don't think the right team's favored. I mean, no Bosa, no Warner. It's a really young defense. Bijan Robinson is playing
maybe the best player in the NFL right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Jamar Chase put a
dang it, Matt.
Made a nice point. But Atlanta's defense is really good all of a sudden. They rush the passer. They're aggressive. I haven't said that my whole life almost, but I'm convinced that they made a step on defense. Kittle comes back, which is way necessary for them, but they're light on weapons. They don't run the ball very well. Tough road trip, don't get me wrong, but I'm going to take points, and I think Atlanta wins.
If this was just a pick 'em, I think I would take Atlanta. I think they're in a better spot right now than San Francisco. I think San Francisco is teetering on that edge of they could easily lose 4 out of 5 games, and all of a sudden they're
I feel like they're held together with duct tape.
Exactly.
Right.
They're like a big crack in the foundation that you just slap a piece of duct tape over it. And credit to Kyle
and Shanahan's good duct tape.
And that too. That's the last couple Thursday night football games have been very weird in that regard. I don't know if you saw this. Steelers were like a 5.5-point favorite and lost. Eagles 6.5-point favorite and lost in Cincinnati. Eagles last week were a 7.5-point favorite and lost to the Giants. Rams were an 8.5-point favorite the week before and lost. So it's been 8.5, 7.5, 6.5-point favorites that have lost on Thursday night.
I know it's only 3, but that's
not to seek comfort, but
Thursdays are weird. I hate
weird
Thursday
things
night
happens
football.
on. There's a
Thursday
reason that
football.
Mike Tomlin really hates Thursday night games.
Sure.
It's not just because his record in those games is less than sparkling. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Falcons here as well too, plus the points. I think they're in a good spot right now. I do.
We'll do the Monday Nighters Monday.
We'll do the
They're
Monday
good
Nighters
games,
Monday.
too.
You ready for
give me your college
a quick
rundown,
Saturday rundown for everybody in college? Some games for you to keep an eye on. Number 10 LSU goes to. Oh, I didn't think about this. 2 games in Nashville this weekend with LSU there on Saturday against Vanderbilt, and then
in
Tennessee hosting. Number 10 LSU, 5-1. Nussmeier, of course, one of those quarterbacks that we've talked about. Vanderbilt, 5-1. Could be the season of an absolute lifetime for Vanderbilt. Diego Piava, their quarterback, not really a pro prospect, but he's one of these 7-year college guys who's a really good college quarterback.
Good college player, yeah.
You ready for this stat, Matt, that's going to blow your mind? Vanderbilt is favored in this game by 2.5 points.
Wow.
It is the first time Vanderbilt has been favored in an SEC game since 1978. Mean Joe Green was still on the Steelers.
Wow.
The Steelers had 2 Super Bowls at that point. They were about to get 3 and 4, but they had 2 Super Bowls. It's the first time
You'd think
Vanderbilt.
you'd have a home game against a not-so-great SEC team.
Right, like against a Mississippi State or someone.
Like when they had Jay Cutler. At least had like an NFL quarterback.
When they had James Franklin and they were winning like 8 games a year before James. That's how James Franklin got the Penn State job. Was just by going 8 and 4 every year at Vanderbilt.
Which
it was
is
like,
a massive accomplishment.
Who's this guy who's going 8 and 4 at Vanderbilt? Matt, first time since 1978 that Vanderbilt has been favored in an SEC game. 2 fun quarterbacks to watch in that one. USC's at Notre Dame. Great rivalry.
A lot of people keep asking about the USC quarterback.
He is really coming on for me, Miava. He's one of the guys that was barely on my radar when this season started, and he's probably in my top 5 right now. Again, we'll do plenty of that. We'll really do a beefy segment or 2 on all these guys next week. Against Notre Dame, who, after losing their first 2 games of the season in kind of like close nail-biter fashion to Texas A&M and Miami, 2 top 5 teams, Notre Dame has now looked very good their last 4 games. The game is in South Bend. The Irish are 9.5-point favorites. That's a little rich for my blood.
Okay.
But I'm very excited to see.
This is a historic rivalry.
Historic rivalry.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see how Miava does going into an environment like that as an underdog like that on the road. That's one for me to watch on Saturday.
That's fun. Now I want to watch more Miava. A lot of people seem to be heating up on him.
I'm liking him a lot. As I'm liking Trinidad Chambliss, who I've mentioned to you a couple times.
Yeah.
He's the Ole Miss guy who just tore up Division II last year, won a national championship. Now he's at Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. They're 6-0, number 5 in the country, going to Georgia, number 9 in the country.
That's probably the best game of the week, right?
I'm a little biased because I want to watch the Holy War, BYU and Utah, just for like rivalry. But this is a top 10 matchup.
This will probably get the most eyeballs on
college game day game.
Yeah, okay.
I want to see how Chambliss does in an environment like that in Athens against Kirby Smart's Georgia defense. This is the biggest test of his career.
And he may really get on the radar with a good performance
he has a good performance here.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely. Couple more for you. Tennessee is in Alabama, number 11 versus number 6. Ty Simpson, the Alabama quarterback, another one of these guys that he's I think, a top 5. The top 3, as we've talked about, I think are pretty ironclad in Sellers, Moore, and Mendoza.
Whatever order you like.
But right after that, I'm starting to think that Miava and Simpson are separating themselves a little bit from the rest of the pack.
This is more of a next week conversation, but it does worry me that they don't have a lot of experience.
They don't.
A
lot of these guys.
I wish they had more starters.
Dante Moore, Chambliss, Miava, Simpson have like less than 10 starts in their collegiate career.
Right.
Sellers has a good amount. Mendoza has a good amount. Mateer has a good amount. But yeah, Bama, Tennessee, in Alabama, 6th ranked team against 11th ranked team. Excited to see how Ty Simpson handles that at home. 2 more quickies for you. Texas Tech goes to Arizona State. Texas Tech is number 7 in the country. They're 6-0. I think they have the best defense in the country, not in the SEC.
Really?
Okay.
I know they have an edge rusher supposed to be a high pick, and they got some names. Yeah.
A big stat that I like for college football is stop rate.
Oh, okay.
Because there's so many drives, there's so many points in college football. Just how often do you force a turnover on downs, or just get off the field? Texas Tech, number 1 in college football at like 86% stop rate.
Wow, which is probably ungodly high.
Their defense is very good.
College.
They have, I don't know if you know this, they had a couple young alumni, guys that are probably my age, in like their 30s and 40s, who struck it big in some oil thing in Texas and have they have the second most expensive roster in college football.
I knew they
this
spent
year.
a lot of money. I didn't know
Or
why.
third most, behind
Okay.
like A&M and Ohio State.
Wow.
So they dumped probably $40 million into the stadium in the offseason and upgrades. And they have a roster that is like a $20, $30 million roster right there with Ohio State and Texas A&M
Wow.
and Texas. And
Texas Tech might be here to stay.
Might be here to stay.
Yeah.
I really like their coach, Joey McGuire. I think their defense is, like I said, one of the, if I were to rank my top 5 college football defenses, they would be on the list.
Wow.
It'd be like them, Ohio State, and a couple SEC teams.
Okay.
Into Arizona State against Sam Levitt.
I said they got a quarterback too.
Sam Levitt is one of those guys. Now, he's been injured the last 2 weeks, so we haven't talked about him as much, but he's back for this game. He's one of those, he's got some magic to him.
They got a receiver too. It's gonna be a high.
They have a receiver that's going to be a high pick. I really like Arizona State's Kenny Dalglish, their head coach. I think he's one of these guys that could be at a big SEC or Big Ten school in the next couple years.
Okay.
Arizona State hosting Texas Tech in a night game out there. I want to see how Levitt plays against that Texas Tech defense.
Makes
because
sense.
if he can carve them up, I'm starting to think he might be a first-round quarterback as well, too.
Okay.
And then this one just complete for viewership fun. No quarterbacks or anything to watch, but you've got number 15 BYU hosting number 22 Utah.
Yeah, you've brought it up
In
before
the
there.
Holy War.
Fun.
These teams are a combined 11-1. Really good. Both really ranked. Last year, Utah kind of got screwed at BYU on a last-second call and lost the game. They're honked off now going into BYU wanting to get revenge for that. This is going to be like the, when Ohio State and Michigan are both really good. When Pitt and WVU are both ranked and really good. Like, this is going to be a
Doesn't happen a ton, but yeah.
massive rivalry game that's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
That's cool.
So there's your kind of Saturday slate to keep an eye on as well, too. A bunch of those with Steelers quarterback implications, and then one just kind of, that's the night game, too, the Holy War. So put the kids to bed and get ready for a Holy War.
The only thing I can throw in is if the Steelers, which is very possible, are in the offensive tackle market.
Utah as well.
Utah has 2 first-round tackles.
2 first-round picks.
Yep.
They almost always do in the trenches, Utah.
They don't.
They produce studs in both sides of the trenches, and I'm glad you brought that up because not really the quarterbacks to watch in that one.
Yeah, but their tackles
But
are both supposed to be first-round picks.
Certainly some offensive linemen. We'll wrap this thing up on the other side with a few of your tweets before we get out of here. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, it's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Final segment here on a Friday. Final commiserations. I think we've done a pretty good job of getting through it together. It's unfortunate. It's frustrating. It's disappointing.
It is.
But it is not the end of the world. You've got some real opportunities to win some big games coming up here. You've got a few extra days to lick your wounds. Let's see how they respond going forward. A couple tweets here, Matt, to close us down. Christopher tweets and says, I know most of the sad discussion today will be about the defense, but I need to know what was going on with the funk that the offense was in the second quarter. I think that's worth a block of time.
Great question. Again, I need to watch it again, dig into the All-22, but it sure seemed like when the whistle blew for the first quarter,
Steelers were doing what they wanted.
Like a potion came over the stadium. Like the defense looked bad from that point on.
Yeah.
The offense
That was
like,
Rodgers' first turnover, right? Was
yeah,
in the
like
second
hit
quarter.
a wall there all of a sudden. Like mojo switched a little bit right after that first quarter.
It was very weird.
I don't have a great answer.
It was.
For you,
I don't
right,
either.
but
Again,
explain
we'll
it.
dig more into a lot of this stuff
yeah.
on Monday when we have time to rewatch and get caught up on some sleep. But it's a good question, Christopher. I'm not sure, man. It was frustrating for sure, and it was very odd because even more so, like the Vikings game was kind of like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Much more, you felt like you were in the driver's seat for 85% of that one.
Then all of a sudden, I was like, oh.
But this, it felt like that. And then it switched very quick, very early.
And then there was a tidal wave of Bengal
You
points
went from up 10 to
right
down
at you.
10.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, it was very quick. All right, you know what? This is good. We need a little bit of a laugh to get us out of here on a day after a loss. Brad tweets and says, I want to know if Broderick Jones will get statistical credit for that tackle on Aaron Rodgers. We spent all this time this past years arguing about him, left tackle versus right tackle. Maybe we should have been considering if he should be on the offensive or defensive line.
That's good stuff. It's good stuff.
That is good stuff. And that's one of those two, like, hey, if Aaron Rodgers ends up getting hurt there, no one's laughing about that.
Right.
I
don't think Rodgers has hard feelings or is
yeah, I don't think he was yelling
right.
at Broderick Jones in the locker room, but it was probably just like a dude, like, calm down. I'm 41.
What are you
I'm
doing?
41 years old.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
take it easy on me here. I don't need to be being tackled by a 300-pound guy. But hey, I guess if you ever get in a pinch and you need an extra defensive lineman, I guess Broderick at least has that skill set going for him. Oh man, Matt, good stuff this week, man. Enjoyed
That's a wrap, man.
Weird week.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess we'll have a couple more like Monday night games and quirky things
and the
like
next
that.
one is a Sunday night game, which is strange,
It is.
Not
yeah.
for our schedule,
Right.
The drive will be the drive next week,
I think
right.
we'll probably land at 6 a.m. or something like that, but I'll be able to go home and get a couple hours of sleep, a few hours of sleep before we have to do the show. But yeah, thanks to everybody for bearing with us this week. Should be mostly regularly scheduled. Now that we've got the Dublin trip out of the way, now we've got the Thursday night game out of the way. That's the good part about the back half
for
of
our
season
schedule
here.
for you guys.
For our schedule and for your listening abilities, we should have pretty much shows every single day. That Monday with Monday Night Football might get a little wonky, but other than that, it should be pretty smooth sailing the rest of the way. Thanks to everybody who tweeted in. We did not have time to get to all of those tweets, but I'll bookmark the ones that are kind of pertinent to the conversation, and we'll save those for next week, Monday, Tuesday, where we have plenty of more time to dig back into some of these things. We'll recap Week 7 around the league and some college football quarterback around campus conversation as well. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. Thanks to Missy Matthews for joining us.
Yeah.
Thanks to our
TV
video
taking care of business
producer, Mr. TV, and then the guy that I'm still trying to find a cool catchphrase, sign-off nickname for, Matt Williamson. Swiss en Swiss. Le Magnifique. I'm trying to.
Give it up.
I'm trying too hard. Give it up. He's Matt Williamson. I'm Wes Uhler. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you Monday. As always, you know where to find us. It's on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. It's Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.